Welcome to the first full moon of 2023. It's wonderful to see you here, be with you here together again in our beautiful Gaia Mandala global healing meditation circle. I was getting ready for tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Cynthia Jewers. I have a feeling most of you know who I am and have been here before, but always good to cover the bases. I was reflecting on the full moon that we have now, and this is just the first few days of this new year. And for a couple of years, I participated in the early days of this event called 7 Days of Rest. Maybe you've heard of it. And it's a beautiful invitation to take the first 7 days of the new year as time out, as a retreat, as a time of rest and kind of renewal before jumping into all that is ahead. And I love the thought, and I feel like with this full moon, we sort of have the chance to do that. And actually the astrology, as I'm remembering right now, has been saying, don't try to get too much done right now. It's not a time for that. It's really a time to slow down. We have a whole year ahead of us, and I don't know about you, but I have a feeling that there's much potential for kind of breakthrough and getting into a new chapter this year. So I certainly hope so. And so to begin, I would like to just invite all of us to take a few breaths and drop into that place of what we call calm abiding in the Buddhist world, calm abiding, where we're just very much with ourselves in this present moment and with the breath, knowing that with the breath, we are allowing our body, speech, and mind to come into oneness and into a sense of calm abiding, aware that this is such a precious time. Every moment is a precious time. And this full moon is a precious time to be together, to cultivate our connection, our community, and the practice of global healing with the treasure vases. It's also a precious life. Like we have this life, each of us, and to not kind of become forgetful of what a beautiful, precious opportunity it is that we have, as well as this opportunity of the new year to be a good person and to contribute in each in our own way to the healing of this world. So I'm really delighted tonight to be here with my beloved sister and friend, Magi Whisson, who is going to guide us in the meditation for the first time. We'll introduce Maggie to you properly later. Julian Silburn, my dear beloved brother, both Maggie and Julian from Australia, will offer his sound healing on the Didgeridoo for part of the meditation. And most importantly tonight, we're celebrating the burial of 2 new Earth Treasure Vases that have gone into the mandala this in October. And as Nicole, who is also here running our Zoom tech support, wrote in the newsletter, she was imagining us gathering around the warmth of a fire. And I see behind Liza Jane, you have a fire burning, which is really wonderful to be with. So let's imagine ourselves gathering around Liza Jane's fire and getting comfortable, finding our seat um, in order to both receive the warmth of the fire and of this whole Sangha, this community, and to hear the stories as we do in Australia, gathering around the fire to tell stories and give our attention to Liza Jane and Marita Sheeran, whose vases were planted just a few months ago. So we really want to also recognize that stewarding a treasure vase is really a journey, a very deep journey. It's usually something the steward takes on alone, but it's done in community, and it's an answer to a call that we feel, that we are moved to engage with, and service to something so much larger than ourselves. And it's a journey that catalyzes deep healing in everyone who stewards a vase, as well as profound transformation and, facing some challenges, all of the things that happen when we steward a treasure vase. We really get called upon in some very powerful ways, because we're addressing a very deep need in ourselves and in the world around us. So carrying these intentions that we do into different regions of the world, we are awakening our little node in the mandala, and adding that special place in our hearts to this larger mandala, which brings it to life all the more. And we as the community are here to witness and support and celebrate each steward who goes on this journey with their treasure vases. And we know that it's not always easy. It's sometimes challenging, confusing, and yet we persevere. We apprentice to the treasure vases, and we persevere, and then the world opens up. It's really incredible. When you stewards return to the circle to share, it's our opportunity as your community to acknowledge and be present with you for what you have done, and to celebrate that and give thanks for that, because it so much matters. And I think this is a way that we keep alive the treasure vases within the mandala, within this community we call the Gaia Mandala, and within the mandala of all of it, the vase locations around the world. So Liza Jane and Marita both made their treasure vases at Ghost Ranch in 2001, where many of us were guided by Native American potters Mary Naranjo and Vicky Tafoya to craft this third generation of holy vessels. So first we're going to hear from Liza Jane, who is a former teacher of young children and a celebrated musician who we love to hear play her guitar and sing here in the circle around the fire. And she is also a very dear Dharma sister of mine who practices deeply with us here. Liza carried her vase all over the southeastern United States, in the region that she was holding in her awareness with this vessel. And I remember that you wrote, Liza Jane, that you heard the voice of the vase say to you that I am the size of a human heart, and I can hold it all. And when I say that, I could cry, as it's so true. And I know that you poured your heart into that little pot that you carried, and you took it to so many meaningful places and prostrated to Mother Earth with it in your hands and cried tears into the vase and prayed into it on the Trail of Tears, which was such a powerful thing to do. You traveled with it to monuments and memorials and acknowledged the suffering of the indigenous peoples and of Africans who were stolen and enslaved on those lands where you live. And, you know, your offerings were on behalf of healing all of our relations and the traumas that were carried and are in the land. So we all want to thank you for doing that. And to thank you too for gathering the waters that you did and making all the offerings that you did, but the waters at the confluences and sources of rivers and springs and lakes in the Gulf of Mexico and all of those where you also charged them, those waters, under the light of the full moon every month, and then offered that. So the depth with which you have stewarded this vase is to be respected. And then for your bringing the vase to the Cherokee elder, Auntie Amy, who maybe you'll speak a little bit about, seeking out, as we are now doing very consciously, the blessing of the elders of the area where we go. And then placing that vase in the ground in an ancient forest in your watershed. So welcome to this full moon, Liza, and thank you again.
Thank you, Cynthia. The turn of the year can be a potent time to pause and reflect. I've come around to the importance of looking deeply to understand that I'm a continuation of countless ancestors. I am LJ, daughter of Dot, granddaughter of Grace, great-granddaughter of Lou Bell, and back to my 10 times great-grandmother, Abigail, in Ireland, and back to the ancient ones, the amoeba and the stars. And I acknowledge the flow of the lower Clinch River watershed into the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean, and the ancestral lands of the ancient Chalagi people and unnamed peoples of the earth that hold me now. Feeling into a protective layer of this, I ask for Gaia's dark lap to hold all that is forthcoming. As I accompanied the Earth Treasure Vase for healing in the Southeast, we looked deeply into the 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows of this place. We let our heartbreak break us open as we gathered waters and stories and soils, as we walked upon trails of tears and honored the ancestors of this land. We listened deeply to the concerns of many. We made and accepted offerings and prayers. After singing the Earth Treasure Vase into being, I returned to the Southeast and began the process of honorably entering the land of my birth. This was a 14-month process. Here's how it worked me. begin with gratitude. Deep thanks to Mama Dot, Ty Thich Nhat Hanh, Cynthia, Elizabeth Christine, Marion, Vicky, John, and the Earth Treasure Vase Generation 3 Circle, who taught and inspired this entering. Make offerings. Introduce lineage. Apologize for harm perpetrated by my ignorance, by my ancestors in their wounded hunger, and for continued harm in the 3 times, the past, present, and future. Proclaim, my heart is good. End with gratitude for the receiving. Healing inside, healing outside. Same healing. Honorably enter with water. Honorably enter with the land that holds me. Honorably enter with the ancestors of the land. Honorably enter through an honorable return, determined not to possess that which should belong to another. Honorably enter through watershed pilgrimage. Honorably enter upon Mountain Mother Gaia. And honorably enter with descendants of the ancestors indigenous to this land. Make offerings. Introduce lineage. Apologize for harm perpetrated by my ignorance, by my ancestors in their wounded hunger, and for continued harm in the 3 times. Proclaim, my heart is good. End with gratitude for the receiving. Honorably enter, not asking, opening. Something of deep value has come of this. Something of deep value will come, yet to be revealed. My heart is good. To give and receive blessings and bounty with intentions for healing and protection in intimate relationship with Mother Earth. That is what we have done. The gifts of attending to these intentions for me have been both ancient and new connections centered in love of Mother Earth. The devotional practice of the Arya Gaia sadhana and mantra were the opening for me to the Earth Treasure Vase way. This is life's work. I've many to thank. Cynthia Jewers, my beloved teacher and Dharma sister, thank you for everything. Special gratitude is extended to my beloved friend Ellen and the circle of women here who have supported me along the way. And I cannot express in such a small container as this my profound love and gratitude for you, Kat, and you, Razul, for showing up. You made the week of planting the vase a celebration of deep heart and meaning. To become a Buddha, pick up a yellow flower and become a vase. Clark Strand. What does it mean to become a vase? For me, this means to embody compassion, to know interbeing, and to connect with this powerful global healing mandala in lifelong service to Gaia, Mother Earth. The word complete in this realm means for me whole, not finished or done. Although the vase has been planted, this is an activation and my blooming responsibility that is ongoing. Once again, I know I come to serve and receive so much more. The gifts I have received are sometimes held in deep mystery. I'm humbled by that which is revealed to me. The Sandhill Crane's message, this cannot be done alone. Aloha. Isn't it wonderful? And I would like to ask Kat to speak, and then Rasul. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Liza. That's so beautiful. I just wanted to share about the journey up the mountain because when I spoke with Liza, it's just such a clear, even now, it's so clear in my view. And that was what I felt called to bring forward. And it didn't even, I spoke to Liza earlier today, and she was sharing again about entering the land with honor and respect. And I had a realization because about that after we finished talking, because when Rasul and Liza and I were at the head of the trail, we were at the head of the trail with the vase to take it to bury it. Liza went to do a little ceremony with the land to enter the land, and I was standing just at the head of the trail looking up the trail, and I had this incredible experience of like a curtain, it's very difficult to describe, but like a translucent curtain that was made of nature. It opened, it was a doorway, and I felt the trail, the land has opened to receive this vase. It was visual. And then I realized, of course, it's because Liza did that the land opened. And I don't know why I didn't put it together, but I did just, today. So that was the beginning for me. It was a beautiful moment where Liza was doing the ceremony, and I couldn't hear what she was saying, but just standing there. And then we entered, the three of us, and every step was in my space, speaking the Gaia Mandala chant. And I think it was a 4-mile hike up and 4 miles back. So straight up for 4 miles, which was a little challenging for me, but the mantra carried me the whole way. And it was so beautiful to do the mantra and to be in silence and walk with my sisters, and in the woods, in the beautiful green with the moss and the oyster mushrooms, and knowing that there were bears around. And we got so many warnings about bears, and I realized there's this kind of fear, and I just said no to that. Like, no, we aren't fearing bears. The bears are here, and it's wonderful. And we didn't see any bears, but so we all climbed silently. As I was saying the mantra, it was carrying me. We came upon eventually this huge stream that was very, running down the mountain vigorously. And I think we all kind of felt that it was around there energetically, but we ended up going past that for a while. And then we came back and ended up being, it's all rhododendron in the woods, these incredible rhododendron. And they're very thick and dense, but the bears make paths through these rhododendron. And we actually went up, we were right by that stream, but we went up this little hill into these rhododendrons on a bear trail. And there, as we went up there, this is off trail. We didn't go that far, but there was this beautiful live snail with a incredible spiral shell. And, you know, the spiral marks the spot. There was a little bit of negotiation there, but then we got it. And we all, we dug the hole, and the soil is so rich and beautiful and black, dark brown. Like the bears. And so we put the precious vase in the earth, and we stayed with it for a while. And then we came back down the trail. And that was just, I just, it's so vivid even now to me. And I hope that you're feeling that vivid picture of that beautiful journey.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kat.
Hi everyone, my name is Rasul and I am sharing from the Valley of Aburrá in Medellin, Colombia. And I am just so thrilled to be here, celebrating the fulfillment, the further activation of this vase and of the unfolding story of healing that is now, that is happening now, and that is the future. That is the reckoning, the heartfelt, vulnerable, painful at times reckoning of the story of the ones that have been on the lands that we have resided long before we arrived. And so I wish to speak a little bit to that, to the way that Liza Jane has walked alongside this vase, has been a testament to the power of a clear motivation that is of being of service and of being a receptacle to listen and to walk tenderly and to be caring, to be kind. Liza Jane is the embodiment of that. And so I could go on and gush and just really extend my gratitude for the embodiment of engaged Buddhism, of engaged Dharma that Liza Jane is, and the way that she approached Aunt Amy, Salagi, a Cherokee elder of Southeast Turtle Island, who resides in the land of her ancestors in the Cherokee mother town, an elder whom I met through a deeper belonging with the land through the simple elemental relationship of tending to plants. And it was through the plants that this connection between Liza Jane as the steward and the boss and Aunt Amy and her son were able to connect and bring forth this moment of connection and of reckoning. And it's been really beautiful to see how it's true. The vase, it's almost like a medium, particularly through the way that Cynthia has upheld the practice, as the practice is practiced in different ways. This one terma is practiced in different ways. The way that Cynthia does it is with the vase unopened. It's not filled and sealed and just sent to a location. It's a medium through which profound healing has occurred and will continue to occur. And I celebrate that as it has unfolded with Liza Jane and with the reckoning of the stories and with the weaving of the waters and with the sisterhood, with the coven of wise women that I got to witness gather around her and the boss the night before we went up on that hike. It was a group of about 10, 12 women that joined, and it was healing to just behold. It was healing to just be a part of that, to behold the feminine principle of caring and recognition and celebrating a common purpose unfold in the way that it did the night before we went on that hike. So thank you. Thank you, Liza Jane, and thank you to the source of this practice, to the lineage, and to Aunt Amy, and to Tyson for opening their hearts to connect with Liza Jane and with the sacred work that we are here supporting.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rasul, Kat, and Liza Jane, for your service, for all of us to bring that holy vessel in all the places it needed to go and bury it with such care and devotion. Really, really beautiful to hear from you, to feel the path amongst the rhododendrons and the bear's padded feet making that path, and the snail in the forest. For all of us who are in such different bioregions, it's wonderful. So now I want to turn our attention to Marita Sheeran, who sent me a few words about herself that I'm going to share with you by way of introduction. Marita is a Miami born and raised, and half of her high school classmates fled Castro's Cuba, and their immigration stories amazed and touched her. Her parents were deeply religious. They were Catholics who grew up in material poverty in Kentucky, and they lived frugally so that they could send her and her three sisters to college. She went to college in New England, raised her three daughters in Los Angeles, and followed two of them to Seattle. Marita is a retired gift planning fundraiser for nonprofits. I may be calling on you, Marita, calling you out of retirement. But her career allowed her to help donors to face their mortality and create a legacy that would better the planet through their estate plans, which is such a beautiful thing. Marita is a spiritual seeker who no longer belongs to any organized religion. And she ended up living 20 minutes away from the first hotspot for COVID in the United States, the Life Care Center in Kirkland, Washington State. She said, had there not been a pandemic, she would not have joined the Earth Treasure Vase retreat at Ghost Ranch. But after being introduced to the practice through Mirabai's Star, some of you may know, and her Mystic Summit, she accepted the invitation from me, who I was part of that summit, to come into this land, which we call sometimes the Tewa Church, the Rio Grande bioregion, to create a sacred vessel that might help to heal Gaia from this era's plague. Marita has always loved playing with ink and letters. She's a beautiful calligrapher and feels honored to have calligraphed the mantra of Arya Gaia on a scroll for each of the second and third generation Earth Treasure Vases. She feels those scrolls are helping each of the little vases to fulfill their legacy. In October, on the 25th of October, just 5 days, I think, after the vase was buried in Tennessee, Marita's vase, which she had named Corona Ma, was planted. It was planted at the ground zero for COVID-19, 10 minutes away from the Life Care Center in Kirkland. It's a place you may know. In early 2000, 46 people associated with that nursing home died right there. And Marita lives about 20 minutes away from the Life Care Center, and her life was actually saved by chemotherapy at a place called the Evergreen Health Services, which some of the residents of the Life Care Center died there because they're near each other. So this was all very powerful for you, Marita. And it's so moving, your story, how you found your way with this little treasure vase, not really knowing how to do it. You felt your way and succeeded so beautifully, finding this public park on the edge of the shore of Lake Washington and planting a tree there above the vase that you placed in the ground with this intention for healing in this way. So please, everyone, join me in welcoming Marita to our circle where the fire is still burning, and also celebrating her birthday, which was on the 31st of December. And I happen to know that she had hit the 3/4 century mark on that day. So welcome, Marita, and thank you so much for doing what you've done so beautifully.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. I'd like to just emphasize again that as stewards, we're on a singular journey, but we are so supported by community and so many members here. So I want to thank all of them. I'll list you by name later, but it is such a journey. And what you also said about apprenticing to the vessels is so important. And I feel that is what happened on my journey. I think of all the steps that I took in my life to end up we're geographically so close to this hotspot at Life Care Center. And I'm so honored to share this time and space with Liza Jane's story, because I sat close to her as we were making the vases. And I'm not putting anyone else down, but Liza Jane had a special care that she took with the clay as she was making it. Other people were talking about different things. She was so focused and loving this vessel into its beginning that I will never forget that, Liza Jane. And I'm so happy to be sharing this time with you, because you went through your entire stewardship that way. But it began at Ghost Ranch. And as Cynthia said, I came to this intention. I didn't really know what intention to have. And then it just hit me as I was talking to Cynthia on the phone that because I live so close to the Life Care Center, and because so many people from there died where my life was saved, that I thought this was a special calling that I had for this vase. And I have to say, none of us has not been touched by COVID-19 or its variants or the pandemic. All of our lives have changed, and it seemed like such a huge intention to take on. And all the while, I mostly was bringing it on pilgrimages with people on Zoom, because I did not want to get COVID. I only had one ceremony celebrating the vase in person with other people. And they happened to have just returned from a journey to India with the alternative medicine doctor whom I credit with saving my life, Dr. Astrid Pajari. And as it turns out, later we said, in addition to the Arya Gaia mantra, we sang another mantra. We chanted another mantra at the burial that is for healing diseases. And that mantra actually came from my doctor's Amma at the where she takes everyone to India every year. And I hadn't known this, but I was talking to her, and I told her about this chant, and she said, that is from my Amma. And she said, and here is some booty that he gave me when I was there last time. And so she gave me this booty, which I shared with everyone that day before we buried Corona Ma. And I had this challenge of where should I bury this so close, so that it's close to the hotspot. And I really didn't know, because Kirkland is a residential area, and it's not up a hill or a mountain, or I didn't want to get arrested for doing something in a park where they're park rangers, where the park rangers are really watching what you do in this urban park setting. And also there were certain challenges, like my handyman dug the hole, the 3-foot hole, the day before we were there, and it took him an hour. He had 4 different tools. So it was quite an achievement, and nothing that we could have done that day. But I tried to bring in my handyman and the park steward, who picked out the spot actually in area that had this light because a tree had fallen down. And he picked out the sacred red cedar to plant over the vase. And one of the things about about planting a vase in an urban forest setting is that I went back there this morning, and it's a 30-minute drive. So I chanted the mantra the whole way there. And I looked and I took some pictures because the red cedar had grown some. And so what I can do now in terms of stewarding this particular vase is I can document the growth of the tree for as long as I'm alive. And I can chant to the vase. And there's a group that stewards this particular park. And so I can join it and I can work there and improve the land there. And when I went there this morning, I walked down to the water that was just lapping, and I felt as though I had been baptized there in a way. And I think that's how I've changed is I'm paying real rent to the Duwamish people now for the vase and for my use of the land. And I'm going to be helping all of the plants around there grow. I'm going to document the growth of the sacred cedar tree. And I'm going to visit whenever I feel the need, either for this vase that I think of as my fourth daughter. Whenever she needs help that I might pick up, or whenever I need help, and go there and pray for her work with the rest of the Gaia mantra all over the planet. But again, I'm going back to the times that I shared the vase with other groups. I did it with, I belong to a Power of 8 intention group, and we meet once a week and we work on other people's intentions. It's a year-long process, and we've been doing it for almost 3 years now. We've stayed together as a group. And I kind of, whenever I would get stuck, I would come to this group and they would intend for me to find a location, for things to flow, for, again, in finding an intention. One of the members had long haul COVID. Lori had gotten it before we even knew to call it COVID. She was helping whales birth in Mexico, and she picked it up there, and she has long haul COVID. And so in her meditation, she saw roots of a tree, and she saw the roots growing. And that was just after Elizabeth Christine had said, well, why don't you donate a tree to the hospital? And that didn't work out. But it worked with the idea of the roots. And after again, I asked for help, and Rasul and Elizabeth Christine put something in the mandala to help me find the location. Things just started flowing about 6 weeks before the burial, and it was kind of just amazing that the Kirkland Park Department worked with an urban forest management company. Whoops. I'm sorry. So I was able to donate a tree that way. And that's how I was able to find a spot. And it's at O.O. Denny Park. The Denny's are the founders in Seattle. And that is how it came to be.
Mhm.
And I wanted to invite Karen. First, I wanted to thank Karen and Steve for coming, for bringing their vases, for bringing some extra help, extra special gifts too. And before I turn it over to Karen, I wanted to thank my daughter for taking photos, and Cynthia just for everything, and Elizabeth Christine for all of your help and your support, and for any of my Power of 8 Intention group who might be on tonight, and also for the people in Mirabai and Andrew Harvey's class, my attunement group, who also added their prayers to the vase. So lots of community, and thank you. And Karen, would you like to say something, especially about the name of a Corona Ma that you discovered? Thank you.
Thank you, Marita. Yeah.
No, it was such a privilege to accompany Marita and the group that you've been working with, Marita, to the site. The name Corona Ma, you just brought that up, resonated so strongly as an honoring of the gifts, as well as the pain and the woundedness and the trauma associated with this virus. There is also that invitation. I almost thought about Kali energies, you know, the destructor and the creator and all of that. And what I found out just the other day is that in India, there are many, many millions of people in India who call the coronavirus Mother Corona. And they have lots of other names calling upon the deities around the coronavirus. And so just the fact that that came to you just as part of maybe a touching into the whole collective unconscious around this pandemic was just a lovely reminder of how interconnected we all are. I would say that one of the most impacting things from my perspective, and I know Steve's going to bring up something from his, is that everything that happened in that park, showing up there and discovering, oh my gosh, that in the hurry and flurry of leaving your home, that of all of the amazing things that you brought, the one thing that wasn't brought was the vase. And to then trust the process. And while your daughter went back to get the vase, the rest of us sitting around and discovering what we had each brought to bring to the vase anyway. The blessings and the elements, the stories. It took up the entire hour and a quarter before Kenna came back, before we had completed all the offerings that would then be transferred into the vase. And so she shows up with the vase, and it was like the whole thing was orchestrated by the present moment, trusting that what was to happen was happening without any planning on our part. In fact, in spite of the planning, just to trust the intention. So it was a beautiful experience of just trust and just watching the grace of all of it. And then to see that the animals agreed.
Yes, because we had many visitations during this time. we had, while we were waiting for Kenna to return with the vase, we went down toward the edge of the lake, and there was a table there, and we set up and we were talking, and we had like 8 of us around the table. And it was windy, it was pretty brisk, but we were very aware of that as we were celebrating the vase and celebrating all of the pieces that we were bringing to it for burial, that there were ravens overhead. And when we got up and got done, Karen and I became very aware that the wind came up, and so we were kind of rushing to get back to a sheltered area. And when you turned around, there was the Lake Washington in front of us with 9 geese that were right in front of us, right, no more than 50 feet away, and they were the only geese that we could see on the lake, and they were all just sitting there, tucked into the wind and blessing the vase in their own way. And as we left, we also saw that beneath our feet, the moles had produced many holes, and so we were walking on their territory also. It was truly a blessed space.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marita and Karen and Steve, for taking us into that beautiful, blessed moment, and the intention around that vase, which is so profound for all of us, for the whole world, and including the animals. And also just the, kind of bringing us into the experience, which I think many of us who've stewarded vases have had the experience of, which is how synchronicity operates, how things just unfold in this unbelievably perfect and magical way when you really do get out of the way and allow the vase to kind of take things where it needs to go. And then that you're in that experience of the sacred, that is something so much larger than ourselves that we can't explain. Yeah, so I have so much faith in this practice because of these kinds of experiences, knowing that something is operating here that is being called forth, and that we are the vessels that are facilitating that process. So thank you all for your attention and listening, because these stories are as important as the meditation itself, really. The stories are a meditation, and hearing each other, listening to each other, opening to the energies of each of these treasure vases as they are fulfilled is part of the practice, And while some of us may be, watching the time and all of that, I think when we allow ourselves to just give over, time kind of falls away, and it's always perfect. So I'm grateful for your staying here in that spirit. And so now we'll go into the practice itself. And this is, of course, the practice that I received so many years ago from the 106-year-old Lama Charok Rinpoche in Nepal, when I asked him, what can we do to bring healing and protection to the earth? And this is how this practice has evolved over 30 plus years. And now in your hands, it's birthing itself. So it's an amazing practice and process, and very much alive for these times. So I invite you to give your attention now to my beloved friend Magi Whisson in Melbourne, Australia, who's a key member of our Earth Treasure Vase Stewardship Council, and whose capacity as a seer in our community is so deeply appreciated and so greatly respected. Maggie, You bring so much to all of us, and I'm so grateful for your continued presence here. After stewarding your own vase in Australia, we were together on 3 pilgrimages, and then you stewarded with Treasure Vases in Australia, and then you stewarded your own with your partner Ava, who I know is there. Also, you took it to Bunga Bungles in the Kimberleys, accompanied by our dear Auntie Margaret Catherine and the other elders of that land. So Maggie has gone through her own experience stewarding a vase, and she's a great resource for those of you who are stewarding vases now. So I'm so happy that you're here tonight, Maggie, and I will turn it to you and to you, Julian, my dear, for your sound contribution to take us even deeper into the meditation that Maggie will lead. So I'd like to invite you all to now turn your screens off so that we can go inside and be with the meditation in a very deep way. And especially we'll hear all the locations mentioned. They grow by the month, it seems, the list, but in particular, let's really give ourselves over to sending the energy to these 2 beautiful treasure vases we've heard about tonight. Over to you, Maggie.
Thank you, Cynthia. Let's begin by taking a few deep breaths. Breathing in and out. Deep and slow. Breathing in the gift of life. Breathing out, gifting back that life into the world. Feel your body relax. Sense the ground beneath you, holding you, offering stability and calm. Your roots reaching deep down into the earth. Breathing in and breathing out. Drawing up through your taproot the nourishing energies and life force of Mother Earth, which she gives so freely, so generously to you. Letting thoughts of the past and concerns for the future melt away. This is a precious moment in deep communion with the stabilizing, nourishing energies of Mother Earth. And from this place of being deeply rooted and grounded, we open up to the light above, feeling the warmth upon us from the sun and moon and stars glistening, feeling expansive as we connect with the vast, vast energies of the cosmos. Rooted below, connected above, in this present moment, breathing. And now let's feel our connectedness to this special place that we abide upon on this planet right now. Feel your relationship to the soils, stones, waterways, the forest, flowers, the communities of life who call these habitat their home, just like you, and who also receive stability and nourishment from Mother Earth, and the warmth of the sun and moon just like you. In this present moment, in this special place, we acknowledge those who have come before. We acknowledge the ancestors of the original indigenous peoples of the lands we inhabit, who have been in sacred relationship with our lands for countless generations. We acknowledge the future ancestors of this land, who will continue to hold this land as sacred for countless generations to come. And we humbly invite all of them to bless us and our practice in this present moment. Let us also call upon all of our sources of inspiration, our own ancestors, elders, teachers and guides, lineage masters, Buddhas, bodhisattvas and wisdom beings that we feel connected to, and invite them all to be present with us now. Invite their blessings to enter into you and into everyone who is present for this meditation. Receive the blessing of their love, their support, guidance, healing, and clarity. As this blessing enters you, feel this love and caring coming all the way into your deepest heart of hearts. Breathe it in, and breathing out, send this love to everyone who is present in this circle. Breathing in, receive the love that is being sent, and breathing out, sending that love, like the ebb and flow of gentle tides, washing, blessing amongst us in this circle. Know that our heart is good. Know that your heart is good. Know that my heart is good. Gradually expanding your focus to include all of your friends, family and community, and all of those who this practice may serve. Imagine our circle gradually growing from our home, neighborhood, bioregion, country, and continent, to include all beings in all places everywhere, embracing the whole planet with our love. Breathing in, breathing out, blessing the whole planet. Now, with this feeling of rootedness below, expansiveness above, and waves of love flowing from your heart, let's turn our awareness to those who are suffering, the places where there is war, poverty, disease, pollution, droughts or floods or fires, wherever the need for healing is very great. Breathe in this suffering, and breathing out, send your love and caring to relieve the suffering of the earth, her people, and all life all around the whole planet. Imagine that where there is hunger, great nourishing gardens begin to grow. Where there is thirst, fresh, clean waterways spring up. Where there are unhoused, safe shelters are built. Where there is war and conflict, choirs of peace echo in the hills. Where there is sickness, vital health is celebrated. And with aware of where the earth is unstable, in danger or out of balance in any way, imagine a restoration of balanced power, bringing protection and regeneration as you hear the song lines of the land sing in great harmonies. Now see the generosity and reciprocity in communities of life flowing freely. Seeing the beauty and riches of nature flowing into abundance for the sustenance of life, revitalizing this radiant blue-green planet we call her. As we hold this glowing vision of Mother Earth, we call into our awareness the presence of the Earth Treasure Vases that have been planted or are in the process of being planted all around the world. Let us imagine that together we are pouring our love and caring in the form of light into each and every little clay pot buried in the body of Mother Earth, filling each vase with our deepest prayers and blessings for healing. Imagine each Earth Treasure Vase radiating light in every direction, sending healing and protective energies wherever it is needed, in whatever form it is needed. See the light like a rainbow streaming forth from each of the vases, white, yellow, red, blue, green, and all the colors in between. And breathing in and breathing out, allow the feeling of caring and compassion in your heart of hearts to grow. Send that love out in the form of light to all the people, animals, plants, and places that are connected to the Earth Treasure Vases that need healing and protection in the past, in the present, and in the future. We begin at the center of the Earth Treasure Vase Global Healing Mandala in a cave above Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico, the birthplace of the atomic bomb. To the north, at the source of the Rio Grande River in Creede, Colorado. Down to the south, at the mouth of the Rio Grande at the Gulf of Mexico. To the east, on top of Mount Baldy, above Santa Fe. And to the west, on Mount Chacoma, known as Sycamore, to the Tua people of New Mexico, the custodians of the sacred lands where this Mandala began. And now, having established the center and the four directions, see the mandala growing in every direction. To the Indian Point Nuclear Reservation on the Hudson River in New York. To the headwaters in the old growth redwood forest in Northern California. The Punta Comita on the coast of Oaxaca, Mexico. Vilcabamba, Ecuador. Jakova, Kosovo. The Lawrence Laboratory at the University, California, Berkeley. The Dao Dam Forest on the border of Thailand and Burma. The village of Ein Kerem in Israel, Palestine. Hiroshima, Japan. The cloisters in New York City after 9/11. The Biosphere 2 in Oracle, Arizona. The Martin Luther King Freedom Center in Oakland, California. The source of the Ganges in India. The source of the Amazon in Peru. The Southern Pacific Ocean, 93 feet down in Egum Atoll, the Trobriand Islands, Papua New Guinea. The Arctic Circle, Alaska. The Kogi Lands of the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, Colombia. Telawan Village, Lofa Country, Ronjama District, Liberia, West Africa. The Blyde River Canyon, Limpopo Province, South Africa. The Giza Plateau, Egypt. Haleakala, Maui, Hawaii. The Ntombora Forest, South Kivu Province, Democratic Republic of Congo. Avebury, England. Bindaluk, Jawan Country, Catherine, Northern Territory, Australia. And the second generation of Earth Treasure Vases. Ingabaramang, Arnhem Land, Australia. The Mackenzie King Part, Ottawa River Valley, Ottawa, Gatineau, Canada. The original garden in Findhorn, Scotland. The Great Stupa of Buranath in Kathmandu, Nepal. The Flint Hills of Kansas in the heartland of America. The Santa Cruz Mountains near Silicon Valley, California. The Valle Caldera of northern New Mexico. Honolulu, Bungle Bungle, the Kimberleys, Western Australia. The village of Ushavik at the edge of the sea in northernmost Arctic Alaska. The Hanford Nuclear Reservation on the shores of the Columbia River in the state of Washington. Mount Ryerson above Fukushima, Japan. And back to where it all began, at the cave hermitage of Chadok, Nepal. To Mojave Country, Liberia. In the base of an old ironbark tree on Didathor Mountain in the Budawong Wilderness of Wabunja Country, Yuin Nation, southeastern Australia. Into our root temple in Tologompa in Nepal. The Munza Valley in Turkey. Serpent Mound Sacred Earthworks in Ohio. The Ashaninka Spiritual Portal. Doria, Ammonia Indigenous Land, Amazon Forest in Brazil. In the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. The Ahokra lands in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, Colombia. On the inner rim of Akaroa volcano, to Waiponamu, South Island, Aotearoa, New Zealand. And the third generation of Earth Treasure Vases. Antarctica, the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides, Scotland. the Salkutuk dunes on Lake Michigan in the USA, and to the Highwood Valley in the Canadian Rockies in Alberta, Canada. On southeastern Turtle Island, US, Shakonagy, Tennessee, on the shores of Lake Washington in Kirkland, Washington, close to the first COVID hotspot in the USA. And now we turn our attention to the 25 second and third generation vases that have been dedicated and are currently in the hands of their stewards, gathering prayers and offerings. And the 11 second generation vases still awaiting their dedication, sitting with the Mother Vase on the altar. Now, once again, take a deep, slow in-breath and a deep, slow out-breath, and imagine that all that is needed to relieve the suffering of the earth can be seen as light radiating out from each of the Earth Treasure Vases all around the whole planet in every direction. Imagine this healing light flowing out from the vases, filling the whole global Earth Treasure Vase Mandala with the powerful energies of our love and caring. See this healing force traveling through the song lines and meridians of the earth, flowing into each location on the global mandala. See the mandala like a web of light, embracing the whole planet. Feel the light flowing back and forth like waves from your heart to the Earth Treasure Vases, energizing them and adding vitality and brilliance to the light that is then flowing out to the whole area in the sphere of influence of each of the Earth Treasure Vases. Now imagine this light flowing into your own location, your special spot in nature, and feel the collective spiritual intelligence of the entire global Earth Treasure Vase Mandala activating your node on the global healing mandala and entering you as a holy vessel. Finally, focus your concentration one-pointedly on bringing healing and protection to the whole earth for all time. See the healing and protection radiating out from all the vases around the earth in waves of light flowing back and forth endlessly. And imagine that the healing is accomplished and the vitality of the earth is completely restored. Now recognizing the great interconnectedness, the web that is life on Earth, of which we are each a part. Let's give thanks for this precious sacred time and pray that the compassion and peace that is our true condition may bring supreme happiness and benefit to the earth and to all beings. With another deep, slow in-breath, and deep, slow out breath. Let's bring our awareness gently back into our body, feeling our feet on the floor, grounded on the earth in our own location. Wiggling our toes, opening our eyes, and gently returning to the circle. And in doing so, we dedicate the merit of our prayers. That for as long as the earth remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, may these earth treasure vases too remain to dispel the miseries of the earth. Through the merits of this practice, may all beings live in peace and harmony. May there be no war or conflict, and may all hearts be filled with compassion. May it be so. May it be so.
And at this time, we would like to open up the space to receive prayers and offerings and blessings into the Mother Vase, beginning with Liza Jane and Marita, as the Mother Vase is a vessel that spills over into all of the other vases.
I would like to thank Julian and Maggie for the beautiful guiding through the meditation. I could feel the animal spirits with the didgeridoo, and it made me think of when I told Tyson that we did not see the bear, and he laughed and said, "Oh, but the bear saw you." I'd also like to offer the mantra into the Mother Vase. Let me make sure my settings are right. I'm sorry. There. Is that better? Om Gaia Mandala Siddhi Palabhum Om Gaia Mandala Siddhi Siddhi Palapu. Om Gaia Mandala. 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 Siddhi Palapu.
Thank you, Liza Jane. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Liza. I would like to place in the sacred vessel in Cynthia's loving hands the support, the guidance, the wisdom, and the clarity that I received after praying Therese Hogan's stewardship prayer. And I will change the wording of that prayer so that I can pray that for all the stewards who are being accomplished to their sacred vessels now. And I commit to saying that prayer for all of you. May your apprenticeship be filled with grace.
Thank you, Marita. May it be so.
Mm. Beautiful.
And now the space is open for anyone else that wishes to share your offering at this time. Yes, Olivia? Come on in. You're muted.
Yeah, just a little nervous. I'm here with the BC vase that Maggie Kaplan and I are stewarding. And I also felt this intuition, this little turtle wanted to be included. It's made of rubber and it's from Brazil. I have a new friend who's from Brazil and she's moved to Vancouver. And the first time she came to my home, she gave me this little turtle, and it's been on my altar, and I was holding it while you all were telling your stories at the beginning. And of course we live on Turtle Island, and the turtle has like a mandala on its shell, and this turtle actually has a kind of mandala on its head, I think. And so to me, it represents the steadfastness that we're all bringing to the practice, and that we're being in real time with the practice the way the turtle is. And so I want to offer that turtle spirit into the mandala. And also, about a week ago, some of you may already know this, but I only found out about a week ago that, and it's really moving me, that there's going to be a movie coming out, a major movie called Oppenheimer, coming out in July. And it's by Christopher Nolan is the director. It's based on the book American Prometheus. And it tells part of the story of the bomb. It tells the story that's been the standard narrative for decades. But it's an isolated story because it doesn't tell the story of the whole land. It doesn't tell the story of the people in the Tularosa Basin near the Trinity Test, which was about 150 miles south of Albuquerque. So within the four centers, the four directions of the mandala, within that space, the local people, the fallout landed on their water, their land, their livestock. And this was the land that they lived on and the water that they drank. And I learned this 10 years ago. And at the same time that I learned it, I spoke with someone at LANL, and it was like their public relations officer. And she was totally denying that the fallout moved over onto living people, living livestock, living land, living water. And the Centers for Disease Control did a study that proved that, yes, this did happen. And so when I found out about the movie, I just felt this passion to try to let Christopher Nolan and Robert Downey Jr. and Matt Damon and some of the other cast know about it. And so I'd like to put a prayer into the mandala that the complete interconnected story can be told. And yesterday I was talking with Tina Cordova, who's been leading the research and the drive to make this story public. And she was telling me that since we last spoke, she's learned that the infant mortality rate tripled or more after the Trinity Test in the counties around the Trinity Test. And so I feel such grief learning that. And I want to offer a prayer into the mandala that any of those little babies whose spirits have yet to be purified in the afterlife, that may they find that purification that they need with love. Aho.
Thank you, Olivia. Maybe so. Yes, Wendy.
Hello, everyone from the dark, freezing north, but I'm here and I'm glad to be here. I don't know, it seems like it's been ages since we've been together around this beautiful campfire for some reason. I'm not too sure, but thank you. And I was listening, of course, to the stories, these beautiful stories. And, what are we and who are we but our stories? And it's the stories that carry us forward. And it's our stories that will go forward, ahead of us and blaze the trail. And after we're gone, be out there, as part of the legacy. So all of you, thank you so much for these beautiful, beautiful sharings. And as a steward of the vase myself, the one in the Highwood Valley, it's such an honor and it's such a responsibility. And so I resonate with everything I have heard on how it impacts us emotionally, and yeah, definitely is a life changer. Much of so much of what I'm doing now is a thread to the vase that was buried, and I'm honored and privileged to be part of this. And what I offer to this beautiful mother vase is something that I think, especially in the last few years, but it's human species, heart and resilience. We're many things, and some of them is not very nice at times, but my gosh, as a species, are we resilient? And especially when we come from our hearts, so resilient to so much and what we've all been through and really are continuing to go through, and the changes, but it's resilience that rises and gets us through. And I think the vase really needs to hold that through whatever is to come from our heart and the drumbeat of this beautiful planet. And so I offer heart and resilience into this vase. And perhaps with that, I would put in the spirit of the coyote, because if we're going to talk animal spirits, when I think of resilience, I think of coyote. And I often find myself in a challenging time thinking, okay, what would coyote do? Because they know how to survive anywhere, anyhow. And so I bless the pot with beautiful, beautiful coyote medicine. And thank you again so much for the sharing of these stories. My heart goes there. My heart is with you all. Much love. Aho.
Thank you, Wendy. And thank you for bringing us back to the beauty that we heard this evening in the stories that were shared from these vases. And so I invite us to speak into those as well, to speak into those, the fulfillment of what each of them were dedicated to. And Valeria, did you wish to share? Go for it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Valeria, and I speak from, I'm in Italy. So, and I think my ancestors are the original ones, as much as we can say, because we had so many migration and mixing. So I'm the result of so many mixing, and I would like to offer to the Mother Vase, and synchronicity with other vases, a crystal that was given to me by chance by a German lady that she wanted to dedicate. We met just for a couple of hours, but we had this instant connection. And I spoke to her about the vase, even if I didn't know her. And she gave me this crystal, and she felt that was dedicated to the purification of the waters and all the beings. And she works with crystals. And I don't know why I had to be on this call, and I know why now. And it is because of the waters. And this is from Germany. And at this time, I was in Germany in November. And I also collected a very special water there that is, it comes from a underground well. And this is the water, and it comes from an underground salted well with salt that is more than 200,000 years old, and went down the Alps during Italy, the moment when Italy was created. And it has a very high healing qualities. And because it's so pure, it's before even man was there. So, and I would like to offer that to the Mother Vase as a connection to the ancestral roots, not only of human race, but also of Mother Gaia as well. The way that she expands and contracts, like a breathing, or like a pulsation, like our hearts, like our orgasm as well. And to remember, this is what this vase is doing with me, is helping me time traveling, and understanding and connecting to the pulsation of Mother Earth as another way of experiencing time. And that this vision of a different time can help us release many fears. And this is what I feel that the vase is also communicating. The vase, the treasure vase, I'm honored to be in service of. And so I would like to offer that to the Mother Vase, and to all the vases that are here tonight, if they wish to receive this water, and also the crystal for the purification of the waters that connects us through time and through space, because water has always been there and always will be. And salt is also essential part. So I will put some drop of this special water coming from the depths of the Alps, of the previous sea that was there. And this is a special place that I went to. It calls Bad Reichenhall, is in Germany, and it feels that this vase that I am stewarding is connecting Italy to Europe. It's speaking on behalf of Europe as well, not only of Italy, because we are one. We've been one, and especially now, especially at this moment in time when the war is there. So it feels that this part of our belonging as a European continent. And this place is dedicated to the healing through the waters. People go there to bath into this water and to receive the healing. This is my prayer for tonight. Thank you so much. Oh, and it's also, this place is also the place where Bert Hellinger and Sophie Hellinger decided to create the training school for family constellations. So I would like also to offer that knowledge into the Mother Vase and into this vase that I'm stewarding, so that we can remember. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valeria. Thank you so much. And we are close to the hour, and so we will have about 15 more minutes to share some offerings at this time. So let us be mindful. And Rachel, please come in.
Okay. I'm Rachel Denny, and I'm here from the Santa Lucia Mountains of Central California. And I would like to put in an intention for the Christmas truce that has been called for in Russia and Ukraine. I intend that this truce is honored and respected, and that it holds, and that it becomes permanent, that this conflict was resolved without any further destruction or bloodshed. And I will offer some music on the flute.
Thank you, Rachel. Kristen?
Hi, I'm Kristen Glover. I'm really grateful to be invited in tonight by Julie Brahms, who I had the good fortune to meet on New Year's Day. We found we had a lot in common. I just wanted to share, this was Lama Tarchin Rinpoche, who is my root guru, who passed into Nirvana almost 10 years ago. But he had a treasure vase project that continues to this day. And I hope that, our treasure vases can be included in this mandala. I've buried and dedicated treasure vase in my front desert garden here in Los Angeles, just 4 blocks from the 405 freeway. I hope it's helping things. Also in northern Indiana, also in southern Sweden. So I just was thrilled to hear about this project and this group, and it revived my connection to all of this. So I'm really grateful. Thanks.
Thank you, Kristen, and welcome to our circle. And yes, of course, the vases that you've stewarded are also part of this mandala. Julian?
Yeah, greetings everybody. Great to be here with you all. Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate Liza Jane and Marita for their placements and just all the love and dedication that they put into it to bring that to the mandala and to bring it to all life. And yeah, just so grateful to hear all the stories and all the deep medicine that went in. Yeah, it's I'm going to actually share a dream, but the medicine that I'd like to offer into the vase is the deep honoring of grief associated with things that affected the earth and people and all beings. And the dream was just a couple of nights ago, and I was in, it was at some kind of Tibetan temple, and there were some candles, and I picked up a candle, and the little candle light was there, and it was like a wind or something was blowing, and it was sort of flickering, and then it was about to go out, but then it split into 4 different flames, like 4 wicks, but the size of the flames was smaller. And then I had to take this up to this higher altar, and as I got towards the top, it completely went out. There wasn't enough energy in the flames to sustain it, and it went out, and I was like, oh no, like it's gone out. But just as I presented it to this central altar or central flame, it suddenly, the flame suddenly sprung back to life. And then I was like, wow, it's like bringing it closer to source. And then just suddenly I had this this face was shown to me, and it was a clay face, and it was the face of Mother Earth, but it was beautifully crafted, but it was a face really deeply affected by grief. And I was shown this face, and it was really very, very confronting. And I came out of that dream sort of like quite startled and a little bit shocked. And then sort of hearing the stories and of these vases and what they're connected to and what they're dedicated to, and the Trail of Tears, and I've spent time on Cherokee land and walked some of those places myself. And so my offering is the relief of the grief, but honoring and really allowing ourselves to see the face of Mother Earth in a state of grief. And the word that was presented was desecration. And it was the face of Gaia, who was affected by the desecration. So I know that the medicine that we all bring is like the lights of the candle, and we're getting stronger, and that light can suddenly just come back to life, and Mother Earth can receive so much support that she helps to heal and recover and come back to her full power and strength. And I think that's what we're all here to help with, because we're in such a time where there is so much to take store of, you know, to take account of, and to hear all these stories that, you know, affected the earth and all beings. So when I was playing the yidaki, the didgeridoo today, I had that image of Mother Earth with that face, and I just felt all of us supporting Mother Earth to give her that feeling that help and support is here, and that, you know, through our actions and through our loving service, we can see the change that we really want to see in the world. So, but I just felt like it needed to be named, and I really felt the heaviness of heart while I was playing the didgeridoo. I can actually sort of sense what's going on in the field. But towards the end, I felt this lightening, and I felt like some deep acknowledgement had happened on a very deep level today. So I feel very hopeful and encouraged by that, and the power of us all coming together in prayer. Just while I've been on the call, my good friend James, who's spent a lot of time in Nepal, he helps many children of the Dalit caste to access education. He just arrived at my door, and I've just let him in, and he's sitting with me now, and he's got a small prayer to also offer to the vase. So I'd like to introduce you to James.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, it was just a fluke that I turned up at Julian's doorstep this morning, and I've just been put on the spot kind of thing. And I've heard about the vase, and I've been very interested in it for quite a while. And I really love the idea that it creates. And I've only just sort of thrown something together pretty quick. So I'd like to share, and I had to write it down. So I'll read it to you. Pass on to the world that all is one. Om Mani Padme Hum. Vajrayogini gave me a green stone. I believe it represents the earth, and we are her protectors. So within and without of the vase, we are her protectors. And that was all I wrote. And I love the idea of the vase, and thank you so much. And please continue your amazing work. Love you all. Om Mani Padme Hum and Tashi Dale.
Ashley, good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you from
Thank you. Caraway seed.
Hello. I'm joining from Santa Cruz, California. And I was so touched by the stories tonight too, as many have said. And what really touched me so deeply was Liza Jane and Marita's peacefulness and steadfastness and kindness and gentleness and love. It just came through so beautifully. And I'm coming through a week when I was experiencing a lot of stress, and a lot of people around me were very stressed. And I was feeling the field of where we're at in the coronavirus story right now, and where people are so worn out and at their edges, and often not able to show up kindly to each other. And I was experiencing a lot of conflict and pain in the heart, and noticed in myself not a strong ability to show up with the peacefulness that I wanted to when a conflict arose with a friend. But I feel so renewed by the stories of today and the presence of the stewards who spoke their stories of their practice. And I feel the potential in myself, and my prayer is for all hearts that are suffering, that we be able to find this centered connection to peace within ourselves, and to give to each other and to the earth. And I have more trust, I think, in the process right now, even though things looked really dark this week. And I just feel a renewed commitment to keep coming back to what my heart truly intends, and also the goodness of the heart that was spoken in the prayers tonight really, really touched me and gave me hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have about 3 minutes. Cat.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you especially Maggie and Julian for the meditation. And Julian, I felt like you were in the room with me. It was so amazing tonight. Thank you so much. What I put into the vase tonight is a healing balm, that word balm, and for that balm to spread through the whole mandala all over the world. But I especially want to send that balm to the Korea vase, because there's a huge uptick in threat there now, and a lot of talk of nuclear weapons and so forth. So I especially would like to send extra healing balm to calm the nervous system of the whole world, to soothe and bring things down several notches. So sending that healing balm everywhere, and especially to all the vases, especially to Korea.
Mm. Mm, mm, mm. 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 Thank you. Mm. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, everybody, so much for all that has been shared tonight. What a beautiful session we have just enjoyed at the beginning of this year. May it ripple out in all the ways it's needed. into all the places and people and animals and plants and mountains and rivers and oceans and countries and continents. This intention, this prayer, this healing force that we generate here is a force to be reckoned with, you know. Caraway seed, when you spoke, you know, personally, it's like that happens on so many levels, you know, and it's just so beautiful to hear and so good to hear that, you know, at the level of one little life, you know, a difference is being felt. And so if it's being felt in that one little life, then maybe it's going out in all kinds of other ways and being felt too, even though we might not know it exactly, you know? So Korea, Tennessee, Lake Washington, and the Life Care Center, and Italy, and British Columbia, and all of these places, all around the whole planet. This suffering that Julian spoke of, the face of Mother Earth in her, you know, grief and despair, we all feel that. I know for myself it comes in waves. And this practice is so uplifting, isn't it? So renewing. So right there, we know the healing is happening. We can count on it. So I want to just take this last moment together to just invite us to gather up all that's been shared tonight. Just gather it up into, you know, like this little bundle. Pour it all into the vase, but also gather it up and move it into our own hearts and out into all the 10 directions. And offer it out, give it, don't hold on to it, give it, because that too is part of the healing. To give it back to her, give it back to all beings for the restoration of peace and harmony and balance and wisdom in the world. So as we gather it up and give it out, all this goodness that has been generated tonight, we also once again dedicate the goodness that we've generated for truly being of benefit and truly accomplishing all of these prayers. And may it be so. Alalaho. Isn't it wonderful?
Alalaho.
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 Yeah. See you next month. If not in big hugs around the fire that is now embers dying down. Yeah. Love you all. Take care. Take good care. We need each other. Many, many blessings.